For practice problem number 3, it says Damondre has 70 cents. He only has dimes, which we know are 10 cents, and nickels, which we know are 5 cents. Complete the table showing some possible combinations of the number of each type of coin. Okay, so we are given, I believe, the one dime because I've already completed this. So yeah, okay. So we're given the one dime. So we know that if Damondre has one dime, which is 10 cents, then he has 60 cents in nickels. So that means that he has 12 nickels if we count by 5, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. That will be 12 nickels. Also, we know if he has 5 dimes, he has 50 cents in dimes. So that means he has 20 cents in nickels. So he must have 4 nickels, 5, 10, 15, 20. That's 4 nickels. All right. If he has 3 dimes, that's 30 cents. And so that means he must have 40 cents in nickels. So we know that that's 8 nickels. That'll give us 40 cents. And the same thing with 2 dimes and 10 nickels. 2 dimes is 20 cents. So he must have 50 cents in nickels. So he must have 10 nickels. All right, so that's not too bad. This is a strategy from a lower level. Don't get confused and try to apply some super high level of thinking for these combinations. You already know how to do these. All right, so here's the real work. So Damondre has 2 more nickels than dimes. How many of each coin does he have? Write and solve a system of equations. Show your work. So the first thing you want to do is figure out what x will represent in your equation. So in my equation, x represents the number of dimes he has, and then y represents the number of nickels he has, okay? So based on this, I can write 2 equations. The first equation is 10 times the number of dimes plus 5 times the number of nickels will give us 70, right? 70 cents. So 10 cents times the number of dimes plus 5 cents times the number of nickels will give us a total of 70 cents. We also know that Damondre has 2 more nickels than dimes. So we know that the number of dimes, which is x, when we add 2 to that, we will get the number of nickels because nickels is 2 more than dimes. Okay. So now we have 2 equations and we can use these equations to solve a system. So I'm going to look at the first equation. The first equation is right here, 10x plus 5y equals 70, okay? The second equation is already set up perfectly for substitution. I'm going to substitute the expression for y in the second equation into the first equation. So right here where I have 5 times y in the first equation, I'm going to substitute in x plus 2 because I know that y in the second equation is equal to x plus 2. So this is perfect for substitution. Once I do that, I am going to distribute the 5 to the x and distribute the 5 to the 2. So when I rewrite this, I'll rewrite it as 10x plus 5x plus 10 equals 70. Now, I'm going to combine like terms. So 10x plus 5x is 15x. And then I still have my plus 10, which I have in this line right here. And I still have 70, which I have right here. So now this equation has one variable. Well, we already had one variable starting at line 2. I can now go ahead and solve for x. In order to solve for x, I need to get the x term by itself. So I need to get rid of this plus 10. The inverse of adding 10 is subtracting 10. So I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides of the equation as shown in this line. Once I subtract 10 from both sides of the equation, I'm left with 15x on the left and 60 on the right. Okay. Now I need to isolate x. In order to isolate x, I need to divide both sides by 15 as shown here. The inverse of multiplying by 15, which we see right here, is dividing by 15. If I divide the left side of the equation by 15, I have to divide the right side of the equation by 15. Okay? 15 divided by 15 is 1. So that's just x pretty much. 1x is just x. And that is equal to 4 dimes. So we know that De'Mondre has 4 dimes. Great. Now, to figure out the nickels. So I can use the second equation in the system and substitute in 4 for x to figure out the number of nickels. And that is what you see right here. So I did 4 plus 2 equals y. And that gave me 6. 6 equals y. Therefore, De'Mondre has 6 nickels. Okay? And we know that this is correct because the problem said De'Mondre has 2 more nickels than dimes. And in fact, he does have 2 more nickels than dimes. 6 is 2 more than 4. It also said that De'Mondre has 70 cents. Okay? And he only has nickels and dimes. Well, we know that 4 dimes is 40 cents. We know that 6 nickels is 30 cents. So if De'Mondre has 4 dimes and 6 nickels, he does in fact have 70 cents. So we have met the criteria of the problem.